بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد قد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل صدق الله فاتبعوا ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الأمي الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Alhamdulillah, as we know, we are coming to the end of the month of Dhul Qa'dah. The month of Dhul Hijjah is shortly to start. Dhul Hijjah, it means the month of Hajj. Dhu means possessor, Hijjah means from the word Hajj. So this 12th month, which is going to start in a few days, possibly Monday, then these days are very blessed, very important, and they hold great significance in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, the worship of these 10 days that will be possibly starting on the coming Monday. These days are so beloved to Allah Pak that He prefers to be worshipped more in these days, is more beloved to Him than any other day of the year. So these days, when a person worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hadith of Tirmidhi Sharif is mentioned, okay, for worshipping during, keeping a roza, a fast in the first 9 days of Dhul Hijjah, a person gets the reward for each fast, for fasting for 1 year. One roza, he gets the reward of 1 year fasting. So if he keeps the first 9 days, 9th day will be Yawmul Arafah, the day of Hajj. For that the reward is 1 year previous sins will be forgiven, or 1 year coming sins will be forgiven. This is the 9th fast, the day of Arafah. We'll talk more about this next week, inshallah. But even the days before, each day fasting, Allah Pak give us tawfiq, you get the reward for 1 year fasting for each roza. So in total you get the reward of 9 years fasting if a person can. So when a person does sacrifice of Ramadan, he fasts for 30 days, he enjoys the day of Eid where he can eat, Eid al-Fitr. So in these days, when a person goes through some qurbani and does some sacrifice by fasting, then on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, he will enjoy Eid differently because he has sacrificed not beforehand. This is one virtue. Second virtue, Rasulullah told us, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, whoever worships Allah in these nights of the first 10 days of the Hijjah, which again, like I said, possibly starting on Monday. If a person worships Allah during these nights, then each night is the reward of worshipping on the night of power, Shab Qadr. So in Ramadan, you are granted a chance of 1 night of being Shab Qadr. In the last 10 nights, we look for the odd night to find Shab Qadr. Here, hadith of Rasulullah, Sahih hadith, which is telling us, which is promising us that in the 10 nights of Dhul Hijjah, every night is Shab Qadr reward. So one can understand how great these days are in compared to the rest of the days during the whole of the year. So Allah Pak give us tawfiq to value these days. असल में आजकल जो है ये इबादत करने का शौक कम हो गया है. People don't like to worship like they used to worship before. There's not the same eagerness, the same dedication to worship. And the reason is, whether I admit it or not, my heart is inclined towards the dunya and I'm trapped inside the net of the world, because of which I can't make time for ibadat. That's why Rasulullah told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hadith al-Qudsi, Ya ibn Adam, ifragh li ibadati. O son of Adam, make time for my worship. Why? أَمْلَأُ صَدَّرَكَ غِنًا وَأَصُدَّ فَقْرَكَ. If you make time for my worship, I, Allah, will remove your poverty and I will enrich you. Allah is promising us. And if you don't make time for my worship, what will I do? مَلَأْتُ يَدَّكَ شُغْلَ وَلَمْ أَصُدَّ فَقْرَكَ. Then if you don't make time for my worship, I will keep you so busy in the dunya. Mala'tu Yadaka means hands, your hands. Mala'tu means fill them. Shughla means work. Allah Pak is teaching us, I will keep you so busy with work, morning and evening, extra time, longer shift, weekend, night shift, working, amassing, emerging this wealth with that wealth, building an empire, so on and so forth. Shughla, so to the degree, walam asudda faqrak, I will never ever take away your greed and poverty, your poverty. Your need will never finish. You'll always want more and more and more. इसलिए आप देखो दुनिया में those who have earned 100,000 pounds, कभी हो ही नहीं सकता. They will say, I am retiring now and I'm going to relax. It can't happen. When they make the first, they say, I can make the second. And when they get close to the second, I can make the third. And then it continues. And it continues. And Rasulullah told us, Bani Adam, only the soil of your qabr can fill your greed. Nothing else. So today, there's a norm that we don't feel inclined to worship. Dekho, bayanat sunna asan hai. We can listen to bayan all day long. But when we say, chalo, pray Quran and do zikr, it's difficult. People who obey to the shaykh are struggling to do dhikr. People who have mamulat or rows are praying one juz, we don't pray juz. Those who are involved with tabligh jamaat, you hear the akabir elders say, subah sham ki tasbihat, we don't do them. Basic requirement of our daily needs, we're not fulfilling that. Quran, Ramadan has been nearly 2 months now, coming to 2 months. How much Quran have I prayed? Kitna Quran maine padha? So ibadat is becoming less and less. And remember, without ibadat, we can't acquire Allah. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ أَيْ لِيَعْرِفُونَ. You can only acquire Allah through ibadat. And ibadat has to be done with مَنْ أَحْسَنَ وَجْهَ وَأَسْلَمَ قَلْبَ. Your heart has to be sincere for Allah and your action has to be correct. وَهُوَ مُحْسِن. You have to do it in the right manner. Only then you can acquire Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is it that made Ibrahim Khalilullah? Topic is Ibrahim alayhis salām. What made Ibrahim alayhis salām Khalilullah? These two qualities. His sincerity was the highest level, and his worship was according to the command and wishes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Aajkal hota kya hai ke little bit of struggle, I leave Allah. Allah Pak tells me do something, bit of test comes, I fall back, I don't do it. Ibrahim alayhis salām is the being from whom we can learn this lesson. So coming on to the topic here, we know that Hajj is starting. During this, much mention will be made of Ibrahim alayhis salām, and it is because during this time of Hajj, we will see Ibrahim alayhis salām, the commands of Allah are connected directly to the life of Ibrahim alayhis salām. The commands of Allah, they're connected with the life of Ibrahim alayhis salām. Ibrahim alayhis salām, he was from the forefathers of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was a great Nabi, a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Quran Sharif, when it talks on Ibrahim alayhis salām, it mentions him with great honor. Therefore in the Quran it is mentioned, Inna Ibrāhīma kāna ummatan qānitan lillahi hanifa wa lam yaku minal mushrikeen shakiran li an'umi ijtabahu wa hadahu ila siratin mustaqim wa atainahu fid dunya hasana wa innahu fil akhirati lamina as-salihin. Then what's our command? ثُمَّ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ, to the Prophet ﷺ, أَنِ اتَّبِعْ مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Rasulullah is being told, follow your forefather Ibrahim alayhis salatu wasalam. And what is it that we are being told to follow? The submission and how he fulfilled the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My dear friends, today the command of Allah, it comes in front of us, and then the dictate of the nafs, it tells us something else. We fall short in fulfilling the command of Allah, we follow the nafs. Ibrahim alayhis salam's life in this time of the year teaches us. Dekho, some examples. When he was young, he needed his father. But which boy does not need his father? Ibrahim alayhis salam in total were 3 brothers. Okay, he was the youngest possibly amongst the 3 brothers. Azar loved him. According to some historians, when Nimrud was the title given to the king who governed Iraq. Just like the title Fir'aun was given to the king who governed Misr. The title Najashi was given to a king who ruled Africa. The title Kisra to Iran, and so on and so forth. So the king who ruled Iraq was called the Nimrud. Somebody came and told Nimrud, very similar to Musa alayhis salam story. Somebody came and whispered in Nimrud's ear, a boy is going to be born who is going to topple your kingdom. Tariq Ibn Khaldun has mentioned this, historian, Tariq ki kitabon ke andar, a child will be born who is going to topple your kingdom. So when the father of Azar, who worked for Nimrud used to send the father of Ibrahim alayhis salam, go to this area, build temple to worship idols. Go here, build temple to worship idols. Go here, build a temple. He was very close with Nimrud. So when Azar heard a boy is going to be born and he's going to topple Nimrud king's kingdom, his wife was Hamila, expecting. Nimrud began to kill the children, just like Fir'aun began to kill the children in the time of Bani Israel. So therefore, Fir'aun's role model is Nimrud. Nimrud was the first one to say, Ana uhyi wa umit. I am Allah, I give life and death. And following his footsteps, who else said that? Ana rabbukumul a'la, Fir'aun. So Fir'aun's role model was Nimrud. Nimrud lived for over 400 years. Fir'aun lived for over 400 years, approximately. Anyway, that's going off the topic. So Nimrud, he began to kill the children. Now his Azar's wife, when she had the child Ibrāhīm alayhis salam, kitabun mein aata, where was he born? He was born in a pit inside the ground, in a khandak. They hid him in case Nimrud finds out and kills him. He was born inside a pit, and the father would come and check upon him, and the mother would breastfeed him. He would bring food until he reached the age of 2-3, where he could begin to walk. Then he came out of that area, jungle area. Imagine how much the father must have loved Ibrahim alayhis salam. Then he's holding his son's hand and would walk with him, play with him. Then the son was, Ya Abati, oh ma pyare Abba, ma pyare Abba, ma pyare Abba. Then when he saw his father worshipping idols, Ya Abati, lima ta'abudu ma la yasma'u wa la yubsiru wa la yughni anka shay'a. Ya Abati, la ta'budu shaytan. Ya Abati, inni qad ja'ani min al-ilm. Oh my beloved father, what are you doing? What are you doing? At that time when the child is growing up and he needs his father's love, what did the father say to him? Don't you dare say anything regarding the idols that I worship. If you do, I will stone you to death. This is how much the idols were embedded within their hearts. So it come to a time when Ibrahim alayhis salam began to debate with them. He began to, he would sit with the youngsters and say, oh, look at that star. They would say, hey, look at the star shining in the sky. Then he would say, oh, look, فَلَمَّا الْقَمَرَ بَازِغًا قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. And he would see the stars, he would see the moon. Oh, this is my Rabb, this is my Rabb. The people would say, yes, this is our Rabb. When it would disappear in the morning, he would say, how come Rabb's disappeared? So he would mentally get their head to think, okay, this is not Rabb. Where's he gone? They would say, oh, he's gone. Then, فَلَمَّا رَأَى الشَّمْسَ بَازِغَةً قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي هَذَا أَكْبَرُ. This is my Rabb, this is the sun, this is the greatest. They will say, yeah, this is Rabb. Come night time, he's disappeared. Okay, where's he gone? Where's the Rabb gone? I need him. So they realized, this is Ibrahim alayhis salam is debating using logic and rational debate with us. So Nimrud also finds out. But before that, that's a different topic. Azar, he loved Ibrahim alayhis salam a lot. But when he came in front of his gods, he was ready to sacrifice his beloved son for the sake of his gods. So his father said, I will stone you to death. Wahjurni maliya. Don't do anything to me, get away. The son said, Qala salamun alayk. Abu, I love you very much, but I'm going to have to depart now. He's a young boy. Qala salamun alayk. I'm going. Sa'astaghfiru laka rabbi. إِنَّهُ كَانَ بِي حَفِيًّا. And I'll ask my Allah to forgive you, my father. And he walked away from there. When he's at a young age, he needs his father. And then when he traverses, he lived all around the world giving da'wat, all around the world, Allahu Akbar. From Iraq to Palestine, Palestine to Makkah, Makkah to Egypt. All of these areas constantly da'wat around Sham, Makkah, to Al-Quds Sharif. Baazon ne ye bhi kaha hai कि he had a buraq as well. He had a buraq. The buraq which Rasulullah had sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it was rode by other prophets beforehand. That's when Jibreel alayhi salam, when he saw the buraq and it was prancing and it was sweating, and he said to the buraq, be calm, because that being is going to ride you now, who is the most virtuous out of all of those who have ridden upon you. From this ulama say, Ibrāhīm alayhis salām had a buraq as well, when he had one wife living in Sham, Masjid Aqsa, and his second wife in Makkah. Hazrat Hajar was in Makkah, Hazrat Sarah was in Al-Quds Sharif. So he would go on his buraq to visit them, and he would check upon them what is happening, to make tarbiyat of his children. Allahu Akbar. Going off my topic, but this is also important as well. When his son reached an age, there was no Arabic that time. Hazrat Hajara, when the Zamzam well was discovered, and Kabila Jurhum came, they saw birds flying around, they sent a scout, they found water, they came, can we pitch our tents here? They agreed, they pitched their tents. They said, can we have access to the water? She said, you can, but I'm in charge of the water. So they all had access, she was in charge. Ismail alayhis salam learnt Arabic from Kabila Jurhum. So Arabic became the language there at the time. When he reached an age, he married into the family. When he married into the family, after many years, Ibrāhīm alayhis salam comes back after his long da'wat mission. Allahu Akbar. Long da'wat mission, he finally comes back to Makkah. He comes to the house of his son. And his son is not home. He's gone out hunting. Very good. That's what they say, the best slaves are from the family of Ismail Islam, the best who are best in archery. They had a higher value in the Arab world when they used to buy and sell those slaves. So he came home and he saw his wife sitting down, and he said to his daughter-in-law, where is Ismail alayhis salam? Where is Ismail? Oh, he's gone out. Okay, he looked around the house and he said, how do you find Ismail? And she said, well, and she began to complain about her husband. Ibrāhīm alayhis salam heard this. He said, this is not how tarbiyat has been done of my child. He said, when he comes home, tell him to change the threshold of his door. And he walked away. Ismail Islam was growing up to be a Nabi of Allah, so he felt the presence of somebody. He said, came home, he said, did somebody come today? He said, yes. An old, venerable, handsome man came, and he asked about you, and then I told him you got out. Did he leave a message? Yes. He said, change the threshold of your door. He said, yes, that's my father. You are divorced, leave my house. Because of you not supporting me in my work, you not showing gratitude to your husband, you not understanding the maqam of your husband and complaining, I need this, I need this, I need that. Go. Ibrāhīm alayhis salam came back after another time. Ismail had remarried now. When he got remarried, he came again, ittifaq. Ismail Islam is out hunting or he's gone on a job. Then he said, Ismail, where is Ismail? He's gone out. How do you find Ismail? And the lady said, he is a very good husband. He looks after all my needs. Okay. When he comes, tell him I came, and tell him to keep the threshold of his house. Ismail came home. Does anybody come? He still hasn't met his father yet. Allah Pak hadn't allowed them to meet. Did somebody come? Yes. What did he say? He said, he gave salam to you, etc. He said, keep the threshold. Ask my father. He's happy with you, Jazakallah, and you can remain my wife. Because you are supporting me in my dini work. Allahu Akbar. Therefore, I'm going off the topic, like ye bahut ahem baat hai. This can continue next time as well. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for 1 month went separate from his wives. They say the amount, the crying that was heard in Masjid al-Nabawi Sharif of the Sahaba, that was the loudest ever. Hazrat Umar bin Khattab came in, so each wife's father-in-law or brother or family or sat in circles. The Prophet had 9 wives that time. And they're all crying. And Sahaba watched them and they're crying. Umar bin Khattab came in. What's the matter? We think Rasulullah has divorced all his wives. This is Bukhari. Acha. So his daughter Hafsa is in Rasulullah's nikah. So he went up, and there was the Prophet Islam was on like a balcony, balakhana, and there was a stairs. There was a black Abyssinian slave stood on the stairs, and no one was allowed permission to come in. So Umar bin Khattab said, "Can I enter?" He said, "Let me ask." Ya Rasulullah, can he enter? The Prophet said, "Quiet." He said, "No permission." He came back. Umar bin Khattab is crying. Though the Fatih, on the 3rd time he asked, then Rasulullah allowed him, let him come in. Then Umar bin Khattab came inside the room, and he surveyed the room, and he saw how simple, basic room it was. And Umar bin Khattab began to cry himself. Okay, Ya Rasul, look at the condition you are in. And then he said a few jokes to make the Prophet laugh. Oh, Ya Rasulullah, the women of Makkah were different, women of Medina are different. And he made the Prophet smile a little bit. Then they said, Ya Rasul, have you divorced your wives? He said, no, I haven't divorced them, but I've separated from them for 1 month. Why? Because they were demanding from Rasulullah extra from him. So ये एक सबक है जो घरों में माँ बहनें सुन रही है या this is not having a go at the ladies, at the daughters or sisters or mothers, but when your husband's doing dini work, or your brother is doing dini work, or your son is doing dini work, or your father is doing dini work, try to support him in dini work. Because if you establish तालीम inside the home, औरतों की खिदमत में जो मेरी बात सुन रही घरों में, कोशिश करो घरों के अंदर एक तालीम का हल्का सजाओ. You can make तालीम inside your house. फदाइल सदक़ात लो, मुंतखब अहादीस लो, या फदाइल दुरूद हो जुमेरात को, या फदाइल अमाल हो. Sit down 5 minutes, do a तालीम inside the house. Allah's custom, you will see the barakat inside your house. Barakat will come inside your house. All your problems with your wife arguing, with your child arguing, with your daughter arguing, insha'Allah, so the barakat of the name of Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they will all clear insha'Allah. Make a resolution to start ta'aleem at home. Allah give me the tawfiq, give all of us tawfiq. I'll finish off shortly now. So Ibrahim alayhis salam, when he was young, he needed his father. Father wasn't there. When he became old, now he needs his son, Ismail alayhis salam. When it's time for his son, Allah says, sacrifice that son now. Usko zabah karo. Look at the command of Allah. He didn't say, oh, maybe, no, I only had a dream. No, I will do it. That's why Hajis throw 7 pebbles on the 3 sutoon at Aqaba, Jamratul Ula, Wusta, and Sughra. That's where Shaitan came and said to Ibrahim AS, Ibrahim, it's only a dream you had. He's a young boy. Leave it. You need him. You're an old man. And Jibreel came and said, no, throw stones at him. And he kept throwing until Shaitan, he went into the earth. So, कहने का मकसद ये है, Ibrahim AS, fulfilling the command of Allah, he didn't look right or left. He stayed focused and realized and taught us the lesson. Okay, the command of Allah comes before everything else. That is why Quran Sharif said to us, Qul sadaqallah, say, Allah has told the truth. Fattabi'u, all of you, follow millata Ibrāhīm Hanifa, the way of Ibrahim Islam, the upright one. Because he taught us that come what may in front of you, put that to the side, Allah's command comes first. Allah give us tawfiq. Look at, when he met Ismail alayhis for the first time, Ismail was sat down sharpening arrows. He sat down on the shade of a tree sharpening arrows. He's not seen his father. He's never seen his father in his life. Ibrahim alayhis hadn't seen his son. He's at the age of 80. He's not seen his son. Then he's sharpening his arrows. Ibrahim Islam, Allah says, now go and meet your son. Now is the command, meet your son. Before that, there was no command. Now go meet your son. And when you go, not just hi bye, go and straight away build my house in Makkah. So he went straight, he saw his son. Assalamu alaikum. Son was shocked. Wa alaikum assalam. Ya abati, my father. He got up, met. Beta, I've been sent to do a job. What's the job? You have to build the house of Allah. Straight away. وإذ يرفع إبراهيم القواعد من البيت وإسماعيل ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. And then how he made dua, Allah made this a place full of, vegetation and fruits, and tahwi ilayhim nas, make people come here, flock here. देखो लोगों की मोहब्बत क्यों है मक्का के साथ, अल्लाह हम सबको नसीब फरमाए. दुआ ऑफ इब्राहिम अलैहिस सलाम, कभी मक्के में खाना कम हुआ? Never. Which Haji has ever said, I've got no food? कभी ऐसे हुआ किसी के साथ? It's always, भाई ये खाना, what should we do with it? ये होता है, what should we do with it? ये इब्राहिम अलैहिस सलाम की दुआ है. Build the Kaaba. Now he's at that age, Mawlānā Sājid, where he can run and he's got shu'ur. So now he's got that love for his son. That love crept into his heart for his son. Allah said, sacrifice that son for my command. He didn't say, no, Allah, I've just met him. We just built your house. Straight away, okay, I will do it. And when he said to his son, Beta, this is what I saw, he said, Ya Bati, if alma tu'mar, do it. Satajidunī inshā'Allah min as-sabirin. I will do sabr, do it. And straight away he took his son to Mina. We go to Mina and we do Kankri of Shaitan, but we don't see the spirituality or the behind it, the message. That's why Ibrahim Islam was taking his son, blindfolded his son, took his son's kameez off. He said, Abu, give my kameez to my mother. Because even my mother don't know that you're going to sacrifice me. And Ibrahim Islam was known not to delay the command of Allah. Not to delay. Command came, chalo, let's go. He sharpened the blade, better lie down. وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ. He put his knee on the back of Ismail. He blindfolded himself, blindfolded Ismail. Grabbed his hair, pulled his head up, put the blade on. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. He let go. Command of Allah. He took off the blindfold. Look, Ismail is standing there smiling. There's a dumba sent from Jannat, sacrifice that. What does Allah Pak say? قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا. You have passed. إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْبَلَاءُ الْمُبِينَ. This was a massive test for you. You have passed. Look at Ibrahim Islam's life. Command of Allah comes, no wavering. This is the lesson we learn at this time of the year. आजकल अजान होती है, भाई चलो भाई अभी ड्रामा चल रहा है, अभी दोस्त अहबाब की मजलिस है, अभी बाहर घूमना है, चलो बाद में देखा जाएगा. This is where we go wrong. देखो final point, and I'll finish. I've not started this leaflet. We'll do this next week inshallah. Bibi Hajara alayhis salam. When he went to Makkah and left her, it's a long story why he actually went as well to Makkah. And when he reached Makkah, she was breastfeeding Ismail alayhis salam. She had some water with her. She had one bag of khajur. When he took her to this part near the Zamzam area between Safa and Marwa, he's walking with her, talking with her, as normal as a husband does with his wife. All of a sudden he stops. He says, stop here. She puts her saman down. He doesn't even say, I have to go. Allah said, leave and go. He didn't even allow himself that few seconds to say, Ahliya, Muhtarama, main ja raha hu, aap yahan thehro bas, Allah ka hukum. He just left him and walked off. Because why? He did not want to delay the command of Allah. He just walked and she was left looking. And Bibi Hajra was from a royal family. When the king, he gifted Hajra to Bibi Sarah when he tried to touch her. And Allah paralyzed the king 2-3 times and he gifted Bibi Hajra. And Bibi Hajra was like a royal princess from the palace. And all of a sudden she left in a barren land with no food, no water, no shade, no tree, just mountains and black dark rocks. And her husband Ibrahim is walked off. So she said, what are you doing? And then she's following him. He didn't even look back at her. Because I will delay the command of Allah. Allah said, leave, go towards Sham, do your work of da'wat. And he walked off. And then she kept saying, what are you doing? What are you? And then, when she said, is it the command of Allah? And he just nodded his head whilst walking. Like this. And she said, then we're okay. Allah won't put us to waste. And then she walked back. And then he continued walking until they were out of sight. Then he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he continued his mission. So Quran हमें क्या बतलाता है कि Quran, what it teaches us, some of us will think, oh, this is foolish, look, this is exaggerated, command of Allah to this degree. No, these are lessons in there for us. And final point, and I'll finish. Quran, what does the Quran say? Those who don't follow Ibrahim alayhis salam, they are foolish. وَمَنْ يَرْغَبُ عَنْ مِلَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِلَّا مَنْ سَفِهَ نَفْسَهُ. मतलब ये only बेवकूफ लोग जिनकी अक्ल मारी हुई हो, they don't follow Ibrahim alayhis salam. कुरान की आयत है, وَمَنْ يَرْغَبُ عَنْ مِلَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِلَّا مَنْ سَفِهَ نَفْسَهُ. The one who's pagal, the one who's foolish, he doesn't follow the way of Ibrahim alayhis salam. Meaning those who follow Ibrahim alayhis salam and the creed of Ibrahim alayhis salam, Allah Pak makes them successful in this world and the hereafter. And what is the creed? Final point. What is the creed? It's قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ Aslim. Whenever Allah said to him, Ibrahim, Aslim, listen to my command. What did he reply? قَالَ أَسْلَمْتُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. I am present. لَبَّيْكَ ya Allah. Aslamtu, I have submitted. Whatever you command, I am ready for it. This is the life of Ibrahim alayhis salam. At the time of Hajj, this is what we learn. Allah Pak hame sabko amal ki tawfiq ata farmaye. So like I said, maybe Monday, it could be the month of Dhul Hijjah starting. One fast is equivalent to 1 year fasting. The night worship is like Shabi Qadr worship. And these days are most beloved to Allah that we worship Him in this. In these days we'll have Ayyam al-Tashriq, Eid al-Adha, the days of Qurbani, the Yawm al-Arafah. All these big days will be happening in these 10 days. Inshallah, we'll talk more about this. Allah Ta'ala give all of us tawfiq to make amal upon what has been said and heard. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu nabiyul ummi wa ma alayna illa al-balagh.